Welcome to the Spirit School podcast. My name is Danielle Sarank, also known as the Squamish Medium. I created this space to inspire lightworkers to go from fear to clear and get connected to their sacred abilities and spiritual practices. I love supporting women through the creation of their heart-centered spiritual businesses in a way that lights them up and aligns them with their purpose. I am passionate to share all I know about the journey to becoming a professional psychic medium, mentor, and coach for the developing lightworker and spiritual entrepreneur. Through interviews, honest stories of my adventures, and lessons I learned, I hope to empower, inspire, and uplift you and get you excited about your life again. Welcome home. Hello, Spirit School. Thank you for joining me this week for the October energy forecast. For the people on YouTube who usually get the weekly energy forecast, you're getting a background look into how I record the podcast episodes that are very popular. They're by far the most downloaded episodes that I create for Spirit School. So I'm really glad that you guys still enjoy them. Again, I'm using Spirit's inspirations through claircognizance and clairaudience, sometimes a bit of clairvoyance. And when I feel called to, I also pull some cards from Rebecca Campbell's Work Your Light. And so my intention for doing forecasts always is not to reach every single person in the planet, and it's not going to speak to every single person who's having a human experience right now. Right? I set an intention with the world of spirit to simply just reach those who will be drawn and aligned to check this message out. And I just trust, because this whole relationship with the world of spirit is founded on trust and faith, that what I have to say today and what I bring through from spirit will touch somebody somewhere, if not many of you, in many different places around the world. So I feel incredibly grateful, incredibly blessed to be able to do this work on behalf of the world of spirit. So thank you very much, and let's just see what they want to bring through first. Okay, so one thing that they were really bringing to me even before we came on the podcast, which they're reminding me about, was you may have noticed that this past week, so the week of, I think, September 25th, it's the 25th right now, it's Friday that I'm recording this, but this past week has been a struggle for many. Now, I'm not an astrologer. I do love astrology. I'm constantly having astrologers come into my initiation circle, my membership on this podcast, because I think that there's nothing more fascinating as far as spiritual tools go than astrology. And I know we had some big astrological shifts this past week, Mars retrograde. Again, I can't tell you exactly what all that means, but it was a very rocky, aggressive, woe is me week for a lot of us. Now, what Spirit was bringing to my attention while I was kind of tuning into that earlier, I'm like, yeah, this week was really hard for me too. And I put it out on my Instagram, and it was a shocking amount of people who experienced an energy like I was experiencing. One thing Spirit brought to my attention was, don't you remember in August, so if you go back to the August energy forecast, we had you say, enjoy August. August is the calm before the storm. I remember saying that when they brought it back to my attention. I'm like, yes, I do. And I made sure that I enjoyed every single day in August, given the situation. And that was coming ahead. And now I will be honest with you, I don't remember what I said for the September energy forecast. I never go back and listen to them. I just kind of channel them. It's hard to listen to yourself, right? It is. It's really uncomfortable. And so I didn't listen back, but I do know from my personal experience that September has been the hardest month for me all year, right? I lost one of the greatest loves of my life. My first baby, like my cat Bender, and I know people who don't have cats just won't understand, but he was the great love of my life, and it totally rocked me this month. It rocked my practice, it actually strengthened my spiritual connection, I have to say. I had some really phenomenal spiritual experiences and visitations from Bender, but it was like a really hard month, and I totally forgot that in August that had come through from Spirit. So what we're seeing right now and what we're experiencing now as we kind of lean into October and November is kind of that storm. Astrologically, I had one of my friends, Emily and her stars, on Instagram. She's a good client of mine. She's amazing. Initiation Circle member. She was a private client. She's going to do amazing things in this world. And so she was messaging me on Instagram saying, astrologically, like there's a lot to come for the rest of the year. So I don't know the finer details of that. Please check out astrologers' forecasts on on their podcast to see what that means, but I definitely do feel that energy. So what Spirit was kind of inspiring me when it comes to the month of October is this is going to be like a month of mindset. Okay, this is going to be a mindset month. So if you don't have mindset tools, if you don't have mindset rituals or mindset, awareness, like what is mindset? How do I improve my mindset? How do I rewrite these stories, etc.? This is going to be the month to figure that out. So let mindset be a big indicator that October is a time that you should maybe invest or research mindset work. So this could be mantras, this could be affirmations, this could be internal dialogue, healing, which is something I really promote all the time. I think if you go back to all my forecasts, there's some sort of aspect around just talk kind to yourself within it, because that was one of my biggest struggles growing up, was just talking kindly to myself. And it took me a lot of years to rewrite those stories and have them become the new habit, right? So I feel like my mindset is pretty strong. I do get woe is me every once in a while, and I'm usually able to snap out of it pretty quickly. Like my turnaround time's pretty quick. And I also have an amazing coach that helps me through that. And of course, amazing friends that I could be extremely vulnerable and open to and have them help me kind of walk through whatever it is I'm going through. But I'm not going to lie, and I'm not a people pleaser reader when I say that I do feel like October is going to be a little bit of a hard month, and Spirit is bringing to me that we are going to need to incorporate play. We're going to need to kind of weave in opportunities of excitement, opportunities of connection. So in Canada, we're having our Thanksgiving in October. I know our American sisters and brothers, they celebrate in November, but I am seeing like dinners. I'm seeing like people gathering and connecting with one another offline as a way to really help ease the energy that's coming for October. When they make me feel like I'm asking Spirit while I'm talking to you guys, I'm like, well, what is the energy going to be for October? Like, what are we going to experience? And they literally showed me waves, like up and down, up and down, up and down. So there's going to be really high highs and really low lows. So you need to be able to talk yourself out of those lows with truth, with honesty, and within your integrity, right? I'm not about spiritual bypassing. I am not about light washing. I am all down with dealing with our stuff without romanticizing the shadow, right? We're going to be heading into Scorpio season in October near the end, and that's all kind of shadow work, shadowy things. But sometimes people get like addicted to dealing with their shadow stuff. So giving the shadowy qualities and traits that you're not a big fan of too much attention. So Spirit's really encouraging us to like look at it, but look at it from a little bit of a detached place so that you don't get continuously sucked in to the drama again of whatever it is that's kind of coming up for you. But they are showing me that the energy is just going to be high highs, low lows, high highs, low lows. So really get your mindset right on this, okay? Let's see what else. Yeah, so they bring up again around gathering with people offline is going to be really important. And actually, if you guys can create a challenge, I could use this too. That's kind of coming up. But what they're bringing me is like, maybe we can create a challenge to spend more time offline than online, right? So I know my phone tracks my screen time, and this doesn't even include my laptop because I work primarily off my laptop, but my screen time right now is averaging 5 hours, 36 minutes a week. Now I do have Kindle books, so I'm constantly reading on my phone. That's how I read my books. And of course, podcasts. Like I do, I'm not looking at the screen. I may be listening to some things too, but I might challenge myself to get it down in October to 3 hours a week. Right? And then create more space offline to truly connect with family and people that are around me. I know even with my kids, I am on my phone quite a bit. So that's something that's kind of coming to me for myself. So I encourage you guys, because Spirit would also be bringing it to me for you, but you have to tune in if this resonates with you. You'll know what resonance feels like. So you'll have to tune in if this is something that you feel that you need to do as well, because it's going to help with the mindset, right? I do feel that online, even though my business is online and social media is so important to my business, and I enjoy social media. I love Instagram. I'm not a Facebook fan, but I love Instagram. And it can, mess with your mindset. It can mess with your energy, because you're constantly thinking about what other people are thinking. Yeah, there's a lot there, right? I'm not going to get into it. I know that there's this really famous documentary right now on Netflix that people want to check out, but social media is not where we're going to go get our mindset right. How about that? So look at spending less time online in October as a way to prepare too. And then plus, I know for the American cousins that we have, they're heading into election early November. So I'm feeling that it's just going to be like psychological warfare online when it comes to election promoting, persuading people to vote whichever way. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of that online this month, which again is going to require a strong mindset, but it's also going to influence a lot of people in the negative who don't have a way to talk themselves out of a downward spiral is kind of how I feel, okay? So that's part of the energy coming into October too, and I totally forgot about that. That makes sense why that would happen. Okay, what else do you want to bring me? Okay, I've never said this before because I'm a big advocate of chasing your dreams, right? I'm a big advocate of pursuing everything. Like, you have an idea, you have an inspiration, go for it. Don't leave any inspiration on the table. But Spirit is encouraging me this month to tell you guys that slow and steady is going to be more beneficial. Now I'm asking for more specific where this comes. So this is career change. This is big changes, like the big changes that have long-term impacts. Spirit isn't saying, no, you can't have it. No, you can't do it. But what they're saying is, if like me, I make decisions like this and I act on them right away without hesitation. Spirit's encouraging me, like, let's wait a week. Let's sit on it, allow our energy to go through the ups and downs, check in that we still feel as we did when we first wanted to make that leap, and then make the changes. So I am going to ask you to slow down a little bit before making massive changes. Dream, take action steps towards your big dreams, but don't make any drastic changes in October. And they're making me feel to say that even if you do make changes, just remember I said that, and then you can call upon your mindset to help mitigate all the complications that might come with making a big change this month, okay? They're just making me feel that some people aren't going to feel as supported this month as they would have in the past when it comes to their big life changes, which just adds a new dynamic of complication. So like, I have to use examples because I'm a teacher. I need to be as specific as possible. What I'm feeling, what's coming to my mind when I'm saying this is like, so say in January when I quit my job, my husband was so on board, and that made it so much easier and so much more enjoyable of an experience. But if I were to translate that into quitting this month, there would be some conflict between me and him, making it less enjoyable and doing it without feeling that true support. So that is kind of how Spirit brings it to me, especially because if you're going to make a big, exciting life change, you want to feel that support and you want to feel that kind of guidance. That comes up this month. This month is also a time to let go of things that drain you. So if it doesn't light you up, if it doesn't excite you, it's got to go. Okay, I know that kind of contradicts what I just said. So use this month as an assessment month on what truly doesn't bring you joy. Now, for my spiritual entrepreneurs out there, is there something that you're offering that people are still buying, but you're not very excited about it? Is there something like, for an example, I used to do those video card readings because I love card readings, but as much as I like doing them, they didn't satisfy me, and they didn't really impact the people who purchased it. I could tell that, right? Like, it's different than if you're able to like sit in my energy. And so I let those go. And that was a big thing for me because I was making a bit, of extra income doing that. And it was a very easy thing for me to do because I could do it when I had time. I wasn't like constrained to like 9 to 5 hours or whatnot. I could do it in the evening. I could do it on weekends, whenever I had time. And so I made the choice last month to take it off my website and no longer offer them, even though they were very popular. So that's kind of like a parallel example of what I'm talking about. Start taking stock of things that are not exciting you anymore, so that when we'll see. I don't know what November brings. Like, I don't know if this November is going to be the month where I'm like, okay, now let's make these changes. I can't promise that. But what I can say is that they are making me feel that whatever we do in October to kind of prepare, take stock, what lights us up, what is holding us back, what is draining us, what is fueling us, we will be more clear to make the changes required whenever, we have our own divine free will. It's like whenever we feel like, really. But it's, again, this slow down message, right? It's like this slow down message, not to act too quick and to really kind of take stock of things. Okay, 1 second. I'm just trying to get some clarity on something that they're showing me right now. Okay, this is going to be pretty specific, so I can't say it's probably going to resonate with everybody, but they're making me feel that there are some relationships that we have. I do feel more friendship than anything else. At first I thought it was like mother-daughter, but no, I feel this is more friendship that has been a little ignored. Like, I want to say put on the back burner, ignored. Everyone's just been a bit too busy. Everybody's been kind of focused on self. Spirit really brings energy to me around October being a time where you really want to make amends, clean up loose ends, say what needs to be said. They need to, you need to connect. You need to connect in with friends that you loved hanging out with or had a relationship with, but it's kind of taken a back burner, right? September's been a little bit of a crazy month. October is a time where you really want to reconnect and kind of allow other people to be seen and heard, right? Because I get the sense that there's friends on the other end that feel kind of ignored, is how they're bringing it to me, is how they're making me feel. And I do, again, have mindset as a keyword for October, and I also have connection, connecting offline. And this is another theme around connection, is definitely reaching out to those people. And I have somebody I should probably reach out to. There's somebody that's coming to my mind. I just need to give some clarity to. So this is a good message for me too, to kind of get. Hopefully that makes sense for you, because they're soul family. You know what? Soul families are not always people who are our soulmates or are people who are our busy mates, our best friends, right? Our soul family are sometimes those people who we incarnate with time after time after time, who have come here in this selfless role to challenge us and to trigger us and to challenge us, right? But they're still soul family. They're still soul family. So Spirit just kind of wanted to bring that card forward to kind of reignite. Like, it's worth making these amends, because you don't need some karmic, you don't want to do it again, right? You don't have to come back and do it again. So I will take that advice and I'll reach out to the person who came to my mind when I was saying that. And then you have to look too, Spirit brought up, and for the YouTubers, you can see me holding up these cards as I bring them up, right? So they triggered you in some way. How did they trigger you, right? What's left unhealed? What's left unhealed inside that kind of took you out of your power, took you out of compassion, so to speak. So that's worth looking at. If there's somebody who you've been avoiding, or somebody who you kind of just stopped talking to for whatever reason, they triggered you in some way. So what comes up for you with that? Okay. So I'll have to look at that too. Yeah. And they're showing me that doing this work around that, right? Looking a little bit deeper, looking a little bit deeper as to what was triggering you. They're making me feel that this is rewiring the story, kind of like breaking the chain, breaking that karmic cycle. So breaking that karmic cycle. And they're also bringing to me that, oh, okay, this is interesting. I'm going to put down my cards now. So they're also bringing to me that this will be a month of tough conversations. I do feel that there are conversations that need to be had that have been avoided, and they need to be said. Like, it's the perfect month to say the things that need to be said. As an example, because this is how I see it. When spirit gives you stuff, for mediums out there, you'll know what I'm talking about. But when you get a piece of information, you always have some sort of reference in your life that it activates, or else you wouldn't be able to understand it, right? So what they were kind of showing me is that, even talking to husband around a little bit more support for my practice, right? Like, I can't be the only one who plans out the childcare and like plans out the food and plans out everything, as well as like run my own practice and everything that I do in my business as well, right? Like, his job is no more important than mine is actually a bit more secure. So this might be a hard conversation that I have to have next month. Or even where I talked about you reconciling or reconnecting with somebody who you kind of like lost touch with for whatever reason, like they triggered you or something came up, and you might have to have an awkward conversation. But this is the month to do it, right? Because as we get into Scorpio season, right, we're going to be kind of having those shadows come up. So why not kind of take what we can in Libra energy and deal with what we can when the energy is a bit more balanced, when the energy is a bit more collaborative, right? Teamwork is a theme of Libra, and so is balance, of course, right, with the scales. So why not do what we can before Scorpio season comes, when that's like shadow time? Let me see if there's anything else. This feels a lot different than past months, this forecast. Again, it's because I'm not a people pleaser reader. Like, anyone who ever gets a reading with me or studies under me knows I'm not a people pleaser. But of course, it would be my preference to only give information that is like really positive and rainbows and butterfly. Like, that's my absolute preference. But that's not what's coming up this month. I think it's going to be a bit of a challenging month. I think that spirit is definitely requiring us to do some work on ourselves. Self-reflection, giving ourselves the tools needed for that mindset to kind of handle these ups and downs and not be caught off guard by them, not be triggered by them. And if we are triggered by them, not just accepting that visceral kind of nervous system response, but also look at the source of it and heal that aspect of ourselves, so the karmic wheel stops spinning and we can like move on to the next lesson already, right? Because what you don't heal will repeat over and over and over and over again. So hopefully that doesn't scare you, but it motivates you. And then of course, just like those tough conversations, and leading yourself, but also recognizing you're not alone, and then doing what you can to get offline as much as possible, especially because like I don't like saying stuff like this at all. And this isn't necessarily like a personal belief, but it did come up. I do feel that it's going to be a little bit of a hostile environment on social media this month with the election coming up. And so I don't know, I would kind of check out offline as much as possible so that you don't get triggered, you don't kind of come victim to, whatever's going on out there in the social media world when it comes to mind control, when it comes to persuasion, psychological warfare, really, right? So hopefully that is helpful. I'm going to try to get my screen time down from 5 hours to 3 hours. That's definitely going to be one of my goals. I have actually been feeling the pulling for a few weeks to set daily intentions and daily affirmations for myself. And for some reason I haven't, even though I write in a journal every day. It's like, why do I not prioritize this one thing that I just feel like I need and I want so bad, right? I have to look at that. Like, what's my resistance there to doing this? So I'm going to incorporate that practice as well as a way to kind of get my mindset right. And I'm going to reach out to an old friend that I kind of, just stopped talking to because I got triggered. And so I need to have a tough conversation and express what was happening so that they don't feel that they're bad or they did something terribly wrong, right? It's usually an inside job why we get triggered. So something that we have unhealed or undealt with. So I'm going to make those commitments to myself to do that too. So I hope you guys enjoyed this forecast. I hope it made sense for you. I hope it doesn't freak you out. I hope that it just prepares you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically to kind of get into a space to handle these ups and downs. I mean, it's 2020, right? This shouldn't be super surprising. And where you can, this came up on my Instagram live earlier, is people are like, oh, it's just been like a really tough week. Okay, so we have a choice to make. How are we going to deal with these tough times? So just know that at every single opportunity you have to make a choice that will lead you into a path that is in alignment with where you actually want to go. So make these choices wisely. Choose things that light you up where you can, and don't bypass or, light wash the hard things that come up. They need to come up so that the karmic wheel can stop spinning and you can move on to the next lesson. Okay? Love you guys so much. Please leave a comment if you're on YouTube and a thumbs up. That would be amazing. And if you're on my podcast, if you could just take 1 second after you finish pausing this or stopping this and just leave a 5-star rating and a review. It would help me so much with the algorithms to have other people discover this podcast. I really, really appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Love you so much.